يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأثرن به نقعا فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. القارعة ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه هاوية وما أدراك ما هي نار حامية. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم ثم لترونها عين اليقين ثم لتسألن يومئذ عن النعيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ويل لكل همزة لمزة الذي جمع مالا وعدده يحسب أن ماله أخلده كلا لينبذن في الحطمة وما أدراك ما الحطمة نار الله الموقدة التي تطلع على الأفئدة إنها عليهم مؤصدة في عمد ممددة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
الرحيم
لإيلاف قريش إيلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم من همسه ونفخه ونفخه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما. كرامة سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله، إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى. يا معلم آدم علمنا، ويا مفهم سليمان فهمنا. يا معلم آدم علمنا، ويا مفهم سليمان فهمنا. يا معلم آدم علمنا، ويا مفهم سليمان فهمنا. بجاه وعلمك ما لم تكن تعلم، وكان فضل الله عليك عظيما. اللهم إنا نسألك أن تفتح علينا فتوح العارفين بحكمتك، وتنشر علينا وقايتك العظمى ونعمتك الكبرى ورحمتك الواسعة، وتعلمنا ما جهلنا وتذكرنا ما درسنا ودرسنا، وتفهمنا ما درسنا ودرسنا، وتفهمنا دروسنا وتذكرنا ما نسينا أو نسينا، وتنفعنا بما علمتنا، وتبارك لنا في علمنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. بكرامة من أرسلته رحمة للعالمين محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، آمين. وبعد، الإخوان والأخوات الكريمة، الطلاب الأعزاء، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. وأهنئكم بحلول شهر رمضان الكريم المبارك، شهر الصيام. ونسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يعيده علينا أعواما مديدا وسنوات مزيدة، ويبارك لنا ويطول لنا عمرنا ويرزقنا فهمه وفهم دينه والقرآن، ويرزقنا في هذا الشهر المبارك قيامها بأكملها بالصحة والسلامة، وقراءة آيها قراءة سليمة مباركة، ويرزقنا قيامها تراويحها وتهجدها، وييسر لنا العبادات زكواتها وصدقاتها وإطعامها، وكل ما قدمنا في هذا الشهر المبارك. نسأل الله أن يجعل ثوابها أضعافا مضاعفة كثيرة مباركة، إنه على ذلك قدير وبالإجابة جدير. نعم المولى ونعم النصير. Very good afternoon to everyone. Those who are on campus, wherever may be, and those who are off campus, we welcome ourselves, and this is our fourth or fifth class for this semester, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the benefit of this month that we are in, Shahr Ramadan, we wish ourselves well for this particular month. And we do ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from us our ibadat and all forms of ibadah that we might be able to offer therein, starting from the siyam, the qiyam, the tahajjud, the tarawih, the qira'at al-Quran, the sadaqah, the zakat, and other amal salihat that we going to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us. Now, in continuation with our discussion, not sure whether you can see me. This is still the book. I can't see myself on the screen. I do not know what happened. The camera is not, I'm not seeing myself anyway. But if you can see me, it's okay. Okay. I think I don't have to see myself anyway, but it's very important that you see me, I think. If you can see me, it's okay. I cannot see you. I cannot see myself, rather. So, but that should be fine. What is important is my voice and the screen. If you can see the screen and the text, it's okay. All right. We stopped on page, I think page 19, right? Not 19, 26. Yeah, we stopped on page 26. And our last discussion was about Imam Al-Ghazali's relinquishing the position of teaching at Nizamiya due to some illness, due to some health issues and problems. Allah wanted him to return and turn back to him, making a good servant for himself. So Allah has been a lot of signals, body signals, warning, but Imam Al-Ghazali seems not to understand, and Allah chose to do it his way. And Imam Al-Ghazali, realizing that it was the act of God and it is the amr of Allah and it is temptation from Allah, taba wastataba ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he made tawbah to Allah and he repented and returned to Allah, and fataba Allahu alayhi, and Allah accepted his tawbah. ورزقه ويسر له الطريق إلى الاعتزال عن الجاه والأموال والأولاد والأصدقاء والشركاء والمناصب دولتها ودولها. Allah made it easy for him to be able to relinquish all the positions of dunya, all the things, all the wealth, the family, friends, associates, and even the Madrasa Nizamiya. So we said that when he was leaving, he pretended to people, most especially the Seljuk, okay, the Malki Seljuk. So he pretended to them as if he was going to Makkah to perform Hajj, but rather he intended going to Sham, okay, towards Palestine. All right, so that he did not want anyone to follow him around or to suspect where he was going to. So that was the point where we stopped at. Okay, then so he said intended. Okay, فَتَلَّقْتُ فِي الْخُرُوجِ مِنْ بَغْدَادَ عَلَى عَزْمِ أَنْ لَا أَعُودَ إِلَيْهَا. So when I was exiting, when I left Baghdad, when I exited Baghdad, so I looked back for one last time. I looked back for one last time to look at the old city of Baghdad, and that was my intention was to have the last look at the Baghdad and never to return back to that city anymore. So وَفَرَقْتُ مَا كَانَ مَعِي مِنَ الْمَالِ, I left everything behind. I left the money, the wealth, the property, the houses, anything, everything that I had, I left. Family, wife, children, I left all of them. وَلَمْ أَدَّخِرْ إِلَّا قَدْرَ الْكَفَافِ وَقُوتِ الْأَطْفَالِ. Okay, I did not take anything with me. Nothing was left with me except the minimum that would be just enough for a time. Okay, so that was the point where we stopped. Now, when he was leaving Nizamiya Baghdad, استناب أخاه أحمد في التدريس. Okay, ودخل دمشق في بداية السنة 489 هجرية، فلبث فيها مدة في مسجد دمشق معتكفا في منارته الغربية، مغلقا بابها على نفسه. وفي نفس السنة المذكورة ذهب للحج والعمرة وزيارة الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. So when he was going, he deputized his brother, his junior brother Ahmad, in the teaching position at Nizamiya of Baghdad. So although he resigned, but he placed with his brother. So in order to convince Nizam al-Mulk al-Seljuk that he was going to come back. Okay, so he deputized, he replaced himself with his junior brother Ahmad in teaching at Nizamiya, Baghdad, and he entered Damascus in the beginning of year 489. He was there. Okay, he stayed in Damascus for a while. So throughout his stay in Damascus, he stayed in the masjid. Okay, mu'takifan, lonely, alone. Okay, he stayed alone in the masjid of Damascus. Okay, and not in the open place where everyone could see him. He stayed at the western minaret, the western part of the minaret. So you know the minaret of the mosque, where no one could come. No one knew that anyone was there even anyway. So he stayed there alone. The only time that he would come down was when it was time for Salat, and when he wanted to find something to sustain himself to eat. Okay, so Mughliqan babaha ala nafsihi. So he entered the minaret, M-I-N-A-R-E-T, minaret, okay, minaret, okay, let's write it, minaret, M-I-N-A-R-E-T, minaret. So the western, part of the minaret. So when he entered there, so in order to maintain the loneliness, to be sure that he was alone, أغلق على نفسه الباب. So he locked the door on himself from the inside. So no one from outside could open the door. وفي نفس السنة المذكورة, so in the same year, after performing a lot of tawbah, a lot of adhkar, a lot of riyadah, ذهب للحج والعمرة وزيارة الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. So he performed Hajj and Umrah and made the visitation to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now from Hajj, from Makkah, Ada ila Damascus. So he came back to the mosque again. واعتكف بالمنارة الغربية من الجامع الأموي. So this time when he came back, he didn't go back to Masjid al-Damascus. He didn't go back to Damascus Central Mosque, so he went to another mosque, Jamia al-Umawi. So, and again, when in the Jamia al-Umawi, in the Masjid Umawi, so he stayed at the western minaret again. Okay, واتخذها محلا لإقامته وعبادته وتأليفه. So he chose that minaret as a place where he lived, where he sat at, okay, and the place of worship and the place to write for writing. So he, whatever he wanted to do, he did it at that minaret. Okay. واختار أن يعيش عيشة تقشف. So he chose to live a hard life, a poor life, the life of a person who does not have anything. Okay, واختار أن يعيش عيشة تقشف, and al-Aisha al-Fakira. So he preferred living just like a poor person, like a needy person, like someone who does not have anybody, anything. Okay, like a poor man, like a needy man. So وَيَحْيَا حَيَاةَ الزُّهْدِ. So he preferred to live as a zuhdi, as an ascetic person, ascetic person, ASCETIC. Okay, so he preferred living the life of an ascetic person, wal-wara'i, and the life of a Gnostic person, Gnostic person. Okay. يلبس الثياب الخشنة. So he used to wear very thick clothes that is rough clothes, tattered clothes that are not fanciful, that are not that does not make one handsome. Okay, so he used to dress in thick clothes, thick unfascinating clothes. ويقلل مطعمه ومشربه, يعني أكله وشربه. ويقلل من القليل. ويقلل, and he only minimized his food and drinks. Okay, so he only ate when needed and drank when needed, not like he wanted to eat and he ate. No. Okay. ويروض نفسه ويحملها على المجاهدات في العبادات والأعمال الصالحات. ويروض نفسه, that is from Riyadh. So he trained himself with Riyadh. So he trained himself ويحملها على المجاهدات, and he forced himself, okay, to be acquainted, to be accustomed with striving hard and being patient in the act of ibadah, in the act of worship. And he also directed himself towards al-amal al-salihat, towards righteous deeds, teaching people, washing the mosque sometime, cleaning the mosque sometime, إلى أن لان له صعبها, until his mind, his heart, and his self was finally simplified, and it became so lenient and so soft for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وفي تلك الأيام بدأ في تأليف كتابه العظيم إحياء علوم الدين. Okay, so it was during that time, during his stay in Jamia al-Umawi. It was during his stay in that Jamia al-Umawi at the Muneer'Deen al-Gharbiya, so that he started the writing of his great book, إحياء علوم الدين, الذي قال فيه الإمام الحداد رحمه الله. So on which Imam Haddad commented by saying, وَبِوَجْعِهِ الْإِحْيَاءِ فَاقَ فَيَا لَهُ وَبِوَجْعِهِ الْإِحْيَاء فَاقَ فَيَا لَهُ مِنْ جَامِعٍ وَكَمِثْلِهِ لَمْ يُودَعُ. Okay. وَبِوَجْعِهِ الْإِحْيَاءِ فَاقَ فَيَا لَهُ مِنْ جَامِعٍ وَكَمِثْلِهِ لَمْ يُودَعُ. وبوجعه الإحياء فاق فيا له من جامع وكمثله لم يودع. So وبوجعه يعني وبتأليفه بمعنى وبكتابه الإحياء. So by writing كتاب إحياء علوم الدين فاق إمام الغزالي على أقرانه. Imam Al-Ghazali has been placed above others. فَيَا مِنْ جَامِعٍ. Oh, what a great compilation. What a great compilation. What a great important compilation Ihya Ulumuddin is. وَكَمِثْلِهِ لَمْ يُؤْدَعُ. يعني لَمْ يُؤْدَعُ مثله. يعني no one has been able to write anything similar to Ihya Ulumuddin. وكان يكثر الجلوس في زاوية الشيخ نصر المقدسي بالجامع الأموي وأخذ يصنف المصنفات القيمة النافعة التي أعظمها الإحياء ومنها المنقذ من الضلال وغير ذلك من الكتب المختصرة مثل الأربعين وغيرها من الرسائل. So كان يكثر الجلوس في زاوية الشيخ نصر المقدسي. So at the Jami' al-Umawi, so he used to sit a lot of time at the Zawiya Sheikh Nasr al-Maqdisi. Zawiya here is like, let's say, halaqah, at the halaqah of Sheikh Nasr al-Maqdisi. But without anyone recognizing him who he was, without anyone recognizing who he was. So he used to attend the Zawiya, the halaqah, الصوفية يعني. So وأخذ يصنف المصنفات القيمة. So أخذ بمعنى بدأ. Okay, that place بدأ يصنف يعني يكتب المصنفات الكتب القيمة. So that was where he started writing the most important and valuable books, and the greatest of them, the greatest of which is Ihya Ulumuddin. So he also wrote Al-Munqidh min ad-Dalal there. Okay, another book that he wrote there was Al-Arba'in, okay, Fi Usul-Din, okay, wa ghayriha min al-Rasail, and many other treatises, many other books that he wrote there. وبقي على هذه الحالة مقدار 10 سنين كما ذكر ذلك في كتابه المنقذ من الضلال. وقد قضى تلك المدة في دمشق. وكانت عزلة الإمام الغزالي مفاجأة كبرى لعلماء عصره الذين شاهدوا وعرفوا منزلته العظيمة. وبقي على هذه الآلة. So he continued like this, writing, staying in the mosque, in the masjid, not showing himself, not allowing anyone to understand who he was. So بقي على هذه الحالة مقدار 10 سنين. So he continued like that for about 10 years, in seclusion, in loneliness, in اعتكاف. كما ذكر ذلك في كتابه. So he mentioned this time in his book Al-Munqidh min ad-Dalal, the deliverance from error. So he mentioned this account in his book. وقد قضى تلك المدة في دمشق. So he spent all that time in when he was during his stay in Damascus. So all that time كانت عزلة. So he spent it in uzla, in isolation, in seclusion. So this resignation, uzla, is resignation from Nizamiya, and also its withdrawal from public service from people. Okay, it came as Mufaja'a Kubra li ulama'i asrihi. It came as a very great surprise for the scholars of his time. So everyone became so surprised that someone that great, someone in that high position, someone that highly elevated would just simply resign and withdraw totally and completely from the public, just like that, without anyone knowing his whereabouts, where he was, how he lived throughout that time. So, and these were the scholars, his contemporaries. So these were the contemporaries, those whom he lived with, whom he debated with. الذين شاهدوا وعرفوا منزلته العظيمة. So these people knew him well. They understood him. They recognized the great position that he was occupying. So حيث بلغ القمة في المكانة والشهرة والجاء والزعامة. So Imam Al-Ghazali, during his famous time, okay, بلغ القمة في المكانة. He was at the highest position. Okay, he acquired the highest position. والشهرة, the greatest fame, والجاه, and popularity, والزعامة, and leadership. زعامة يعني رياسة. So he became so popular. فصاروا يؤولون السبب ويقولون إنه شيء سماوي وليس له سبب إلا عين أصابت المسلمين فيه. Okay, and some of them, they were trying to give it various interpretation, various reasons, various asbab, thinking, well, maybe he left because he was attacked by Assad. Maybe he left because maybe people attacked him through witchcraft. Maybe. Okay, so you awiluna sababa. So everyone started trying to interpret, say whatever they like. Okay, whatever the way it appeared to them. Sometimes they say, yeah, it is a heavenly. It has relation with what with God. That is, it is a God direction. It is an heavenly direction. It is a divine direction. It is something that is beyond this power. Okay, and some people say, ليس له سبب إلا عين أصابت المسلمين فيه. They say sometimes they say, no, it is nothing but witchcraft. It was a witchcraft that was afflicted to him from other scholars, other contemporaries. Okay, so ويبين الإمام الغزالي ذلك في كتابه المنقذ من الضلال فيقول تفكرت في نيتي في التدريس فإذا هي غير خالصة لوجه الله بل باعثها ومحركها طلب الجاه. Okay, وانتشار الصيت فتيقنت أني على شفا جرف هار من النار فلم أزل أتفكر أصمم العزم على الخروج من بغداد ومفارقة تلك الأهوال يوما وأؤجل العزم يوما أقدم رجلا وأؤخر أخرى لا تصدق لي رغبة في طلب الآخرة بكرة إلا ويحمل عليها جند الشهوة حملة فيفرقها عشية فصارت شهوات الدنيا تجاذبني بسلاسلها إلى المقام ومنادى الإيمان ينادي الرحيل الرحيل فلم يبق من الأمر إلا القليل وبين يديك السفر الطويل فلم أزل أتردد بين تجاذب الشهوات الدنيا ودواعي الآخرة قريبا من 6 أشهر أولها رجب سنة 488 هجرية. Imam Al-Ghazali gave this account of what happened to him in Al-Munqidh min Ad-Dalal. Okay, Imam Al-Ghazali himself in his book Al-Munqidh min Ad-Dalal, he explained Okay, he clarifies this his position, what happened. So he said, تفكرت في نيتي في التدريس. Okay, تفكرت بمعنى نظرت بحثت. Okay, تفكرت كثيرا في نيتي في التدريس. I checked my intention. I thought about my intention in teaching at Nizamiya. I checked I cross-checked my intention in all these activities that I do. فإذا هي غير خالصة لوجه الله. So I found out that my intention was not purely for the sake of Allah. My activities at Nizamiya, my activities as a scholar, my activities as a famous personality in such a leadership position, I found out that it was not sincere to the cause of Allah. So rather, باعثها ومحركها طلب الجاه. Rather, what influenced my intention and the driver behind my intention is talabul jah, the seek for fame and popularity. So it was popularity and fame that pushed me to that. Not my intention was not actually liwajhillah. It was for the sake of achieving jah, popularity. Wantisharu sit, it was for the sake of making my voice heard by everyone. Okay? To spread my voice, to make sure that it is only my voice that everyone hear everywhere. So, fatayakontu from yakin, fatayakontu anni ala shafa jurufin har. So I realized that I was on a dangerous path. P-A-T-H, okay, P-A-T-H, path, tariqah, okay, fatayakontu. So I realized that anni ala shafa jurufin har, I was treading a very dangerous path. Falam azal atafakkaru. So and I didn't stop thinking. I was confused. Okay, I was in between. أصمم العزم على الخروج من بغداد ومفارقة تلك الأهوال يوما. Sometime I make up my mind to get out of Baghdad and withdraw from all those positions and those conditions, those affluent and rich conditions. Someday, I will make up my mind that definitely tomorrow I'm going to leave. I'm going to exit. I'm going to leave this country. But some other time, when tomorrow comes, then I will postpone again. I postpone my intention again. So that I continued like that. I continued like that. I was confused. I didn't know what to do. Sometimes I take one leg out, then the other leg is remaining inside. Okay? One leg is out, one leg is in. Okay? One part is out, it's telling me go out, and the other part is telling, oh, don't go out, stay. لا تصدق لي رغبة في طلب الآخرة بكرة إلا ويهمل عليها جند الشهوة حملة فيفرقها عشية. Sometime بكرة, when I wake up, okay? Sometime when I wake up in the morning, okay, رغبة في طلب الآخرة تصدق لي. My desire to seek the akhirah would be true, would be honest, would be calling me. my mind, my sense would tell me in the morning to go back to Amalul Akhirah, to engage in tawbah, to seek forgiveness. But again, ashiyatan, when it is in the night, okay, when the night comes, jundu shawa yahmalu alayya hamlatan. Then the military, the soldier, awanu shahwa, the soldier of desire, of lust for the world, another call for the world, for the material lust, yahmilu alayha hamlatan, will come again to say, don't worry, just enjoy yourself. It is halal for you. It is only you there. Nobody else can do it. Then I will leave the desire for talabul akhirah. So by this I continue like that. فصارت شهوات الدنيا تجاذبني بسلاسلها إلى المقام. Okay? And shahwat dunya, the material lusts, the material substances, fame, money, popularity, okay? So all this shahwat dunya, gold, all this, sarat tujazibuni, they were pulling me ilal maqami, they were pulling me to the grave. They were pulling me to the grave, bisalasiliha, with their chain. So the material lust, the material substances, the material wantings, al-aghrad al-dunyawiyya, were pulling me towards the grave with their chain. Meaning to say, I was chained in the material lust. I was lost in dunya. And another time, منادي الإيمان ينادي الرحيل الرحيل فلم يبق من الأمر إلا القليل. Then again sometimes, some other time, I hear the munadi al-iman, a call of iman, a call of akhirah. I hear a spirit talking to me, yunadi, talking to me and whispering to me, ar-rahil ar-rahil, your time is up. Your time is close. فَلَمْ يَبْقَ مِنَ الْأُمُرِ إِلَّا الْقَلِيلِ. You have only some time left for you. وَبَيْنَ يَدَيْكَ السَّفَرُ الطَّوِيلِ. And you still have a long journey in front of you, awaiting you after death. So, Ar-Rahil Ar-Rahil, be careful. Return back. Come back quickly. فَلَمْ يَبْقَ مِنَ الْأُمُرِ إِلَّا الْقَلِيلِ. Don't end your time like this. Don't end your life like this. You have only limited time left. وَبَيْنَ يَدَيْكَ السَّفَرُ الطَّوِيلِ. And after death, you have a long journey to go. فَلَمْ أَزَلْ أَتَرَدَّدُ. Imam Al-Ghazali said, I was confused. I was in between. I was بَيْنَ وَبَيْنَ. بَيْنَ تَجَاذِبُ الشَّهْوَاتِ الدُّنْيَا وَدَوَاعِي الْآخِرَةِ. I was confused in between the pulling of the material of the world pulling me, and the akhirah also calling me. I was like this, قريبا من 6 أشهر, for about 6 months. I was witnessing this, I was experiencing this crush, this spiritual crisis. I was experiencing this spiritual crisis for almost 6 months, starting from Rajab in the year 488. So وهكذا جرب الإمام الغزالي قبل عزلته الدنيا بما فيها من زينة الحياة وبهجتها والمال والجاه والمناصب العليا والتباهي والتفاخر، فأدرك حقيقتها وآلامها ومشاكلها وشهواتها حلوها ومرها وتبين له أن كل ذلك لا يسعد الإنسان ولا يوفر له الاطمئنان والاستقرار إلى الله ومعرفته على الوجه الصحيح. هو قطع كل علائق الدنيا عن القلب ليستطيع تقبل الأنوار الإلهية، فقرر الانعزال والانزواء، وترك الدنيا بما فيها وراء ظهره، والإقبال بكل الحمة على الله تعالى إيثارا للباقي على الفاني، واختار ما هو الأفضل وهو العيش في رحاب الله لا يشغله عنه شيء لا مال ولا جاه. So that was how Imam Al-Ghazali continued, and he was experiencing all this spiritual crisis قبل عزلته الدنيا بما فيها, before resigning from the world, from materiality, okay, completely. Okay, so that was what happened to Imam Al-Ghazali before going on seclusion, before petitioning the world and everything min zinatil hayati, from every favors, every ornaments of life, every goods, every goodies, wal mala wal jah. He left all money, wealth, all popularity, all position, al uliya, wat tabahi. He left all the fames, wat tafakhur, and all the proud positions. فأدرك حقيقتها. So he understood what is true in the world, وآلامها, and what is painful. He witnessed, he experienced, he knew what was sweet in the world and what was sour. He knew the truth and what is painful. ومشاكلها. He understood the troubles and the problems of fame, of popularity. وشهواتها. He understood the desire for it. حلوها ومرها. He tasted both the sweet and the sour. وتبين له أن كل ذلك لا يسعد الإنسان. So he understood, okay, he clearly understood from all that everything, all this al-mal, al-jah, al-munasib, al-tabahi, al-tafakhur, all this, everything, la yus'idul insan, does not give happiness to man. Man cannot achieve happiness and joy and sa'ada from all this. وَلَا يُوَفِّرُ لَهُ الْإِطْمِئْنَانِ. This will not give man peace of mind. وَالْإِسْتِقْرَارُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. This will not give man's mind settlement towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَعْرِفَتِهِ عَلَى الْوَجْهِ الصَّحِيحِ. This will not allow anyone to understand and study and get closer to God in a proper sense. هُوَ قَطْعُ كُلَّ عَلَائِكِ الدُّنْيَا عَنِ الْقَلْبِ. So the only way, the only solution is قَطْعُ كُلَّ عَلَائِكِ الدُّنْيا عَنِ الْقَلْبِ. So is to sever, that is to cut, okay, to cut out all our connection with all the worldly connection from our heart. Okay, the only way to achieve sa'ada, to achieve closeness to Allah, to get proximity towards Allah, is cut on kulla alaik dunya an al-qalb, to cut all worldly connection, to remove it from the heart. لِيَسْتَطِيعَ تَقَبُّلِ الْأَنْوَارِ الْإِلَهِيَّةِ, so that the heart will be able to receive the light of Allah, the light and directions of God. So by this, Imam Al-Ghazali understood this. He understood that the only way out was to take his mind off from all these worldly things. The only way is to take all this fame and popularity and positions, sacrifice them, let them go. Take your mind out of it so that your mind will be ready to receive the divine light, the light of Allah, the direction of Allah. So by that, قرر الانعزال والانزواء. So al-inzal and al-inziwa to almost the same meaning. So he finally decided to go on seclusion and loneliness. Lone. Okay, seclusion, SECLUSION. Seclusion, okay, and loneliness. Okay, so he desired to go on seclusion and loneliness. وَتَرَكَ الدُّنْيَا بِمَا فِيهَا وَرَاءَ ظَهْرِهِ. So he left worldly things behind him. وَالْإِقْبَالُ بِكُنْهِ الْهِمَّةِ عَلَى اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. Then he, بِكُنْهِ الْهِمَّةِ, with all his desire, with all his effort, he faced towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Itharan lilibati, he chose Allah al-bati, al-akhirah, ala ad-dunya al-fani. So he preferred to achieve sa'adatul akhirah against ad-dunya al-fani, the vanity world. وَاخْتَارَ مَا هُوَ الْأَفْضَلِ. So he chose what was the best. وَهُوَ الْعَيْشُ فِي رِحَابِ اللَّهِ. So that was living in the presence of Allah, that is, going to live in the masjid. لَا يُشْغِلُهُ أَنْهُ شَيْءٌ لَا مَالٌ وَلَا جَاهٌ. Where nothing would disturb him, where nothing would distract him, not money, not fame, not popularity, not family. So, عودة الإمام الغزالي إلى بلده تسمى ببغداد. Okay, the return of Imam al-Ghazali to his city, Tus, while passing through Baghdad, because of course when he was going to go back to Tus, he has to go through Baghdad. Okay, so he's returning back to Tus, his hometown, passing through Baghdad. Now, بقي الإمام الغزالي على تلك الحالة من العزلة ومجاهدة النفس وتكليفها المشاقة في سبيل العبادة والأعمال الصالحة وتأليف الكتب النافعة، متخذا من دمشق مقرا له حتى أواخر السنة 499. Okay, so Imam al-Ghazali remained on that seclusion in a very safe and close isolation, ومجاهدة النفس, and training and self-training, وتكليفها المشاقة, and educating himself to undergo difficulties, training, في سبيل العبادة, on the path of worshiping Allah, والأعمال الصالحة, and executing good deeds, and at the same time writing books, okay, while he was staying in Damascus. Okay, so he continued like that until late 499, until late year 499 Hijrah. So at the end of 499, توجه عائدا إلى موطنه خراسان. So he went back to his birthplace, Khurasan. So فمر أولا بمدينة بغداد. So he first passed through Baghdad. ولم يقم بها كثيرا, but he did not stay there for long. وإنما مكث فترة وجيزة. He just stayed there briefly. Okay, فترة وجيزة. So he stayed in Baghdad briefly, maybe like transit, Okay, he had a transit in Baghdad. وعقد بها مجلسا للوعظ. So during that brief stay in Baghdad, so he established let's say majlis, a circle for wa'azi, for giving people irshad. وحدث بكتابه الإحياء. So he taught people and told them about his book Al-Ihya Ulumuddin. So after that, غادر بغداد عائدا إلى وطنه ومسقط رأسه مدينة توس. Okay, so after that he left Baghdad, going back to his birthplace. Okay, مسقط رأسه, his birthplace, Tus. وبها حتى الرحالة وألقى عصا التسيارة ملازما منزله مشتغلا كعادته بالعبادة والتأليف محافظا على الوقت إلى أن كلفه فخر الملك بالتدريس في نظامية نيسابور، وذلك في شهر ذي القعدة سنة 499. So he went back to his birthplace, and when he went back to Tus, حتى الرحالة وألقى عصا التسيارة. Okay, he ended his journey, حتى الرحالة, that is, he ended his traveling. So he decided not to go to anywhere again. وألقى عصا التسيارة. عصا التسيار, in those days, when travelers travel, they used to have this asa, this staff, this stick with them, with which they walk, and they chase away dangerous animal from their path. Okay, so alcohol asotisiyar, when they say someone alcohol asotisiyar, that is, he threw away the staff of moving about. That is to say, he stopped traveling about. Okay, so mulazama manzilahu, so he remained in his house in Tus. Mustawilan ka'adatihi bil ibadah. So he continued his normal procedure, his normal what do we call it? His normal daily routine. So he continued his normal daily routine, the way he used to do when he was in Damascus, when he was in Uzla. So he continued, mustaqilan bil ibadati wa ta'lim. So busying himself, concentrating himself on al-umur al-ibadah, on worshiping up and writing books. Muhafizun ala al-waqti. Okay, he was conscious of the time of Salat, only go to join people when it was time to Salat together, then go back to his house afterward. So he continued like that, إلى أن كلفه فخر الملك بالتدريس في نظامية نيسابور. He continued like that until when Fakhr al-Malik again, okay, another wazir in Nisabur, okay, so appointed him to teach at Nizamiya of Nisabur. So وذلك في شهر ذي القعدة سنة 499 499. So that was in ذي القعدة 499. فتكون المدة منذ مغادرته نظامية بغداد إلى معاودته التدريس بنظامية نيسابور 11 سنة. So the period between the time he left Nizamiya of Baghdad and the time when he returned to teaching at Nizamiya of Nisabur was 11 years approximately. Okay, so that is غادر البلاد واعتزل الحالة والجاء والمنزل والمناسب وكل ما أملك لمدة 11 سنة. So he left everything he had behind for approximately 11 years. Now, معاودته لتدريس في نظامية نيسابور is return for teaching at مدرسة النظامية in نيسابور. بعد التجارب التي مر بها الإمام الغزالي من جاه الدنيا وزينتها إلى العزلة والتقشف ورياضة النفس ومجاهدتها حتى بلغ المرتبة التي اطمأن إليها من الصفاء والسعادة ومعرفة مكائد الشيطان وعيوب النفس، حيث حققت العزلة أهدافها، قرر العودة إلى الوطن والقيام بالتعليم الناس وإفادة العلم، ولا سيما وقد شعر بحاجة الناس الماسة إلى ذلك، فقد جاءه الوزير فخر الملك ابن النظام الملكي وألح عليه غاية الإلهاء أن يقبل بتعيينه له للقيام بالتدريس في نظامية نيسابور، إلى أن استجاب فانتقل إلى نيسابور في شهر ذي القعدة سنة 499 هجرية، وهناك قام بالتدريس في المدرسة النظامية بها. Okay, so it's returned to Nizamiya of Nisabur. After all these experiences, okay, all this life experience that has been witnessed by Imam Al-Ghazali, after understanding the position of popularity, the position of worldly matters, the ornament, the evils of the material world, and he also understood the benefit in al-uzla wa taqashuf wa riyadat an-nafs wa mujahadatuha. So he understood the benefit of being in seclusion and training oneself with hardship, wa riyadat an-nafs, and educating oneself with a lot of riyada al-ruhiyya wa nafsiyya wa mujahadat an-nafs, and striving against oneself. Okay, so he understood all this. He knew the right and the left, the front and the back. He knew everything, all these aspects of life. حتى بلغ المرتبة التي اطمأن إليها من الصفاء والسعادة. So he continued all this uzla, taqashuf, the self-riyada training, the self-sufi training, the self-gnostic training. So he continued training himself until بلغ المرتبة التي اطمأن إليها, until when he was satisfied of himself that he has achieved a safa, purity of heart, was sa'ada, and until he was sure that he has achieved happiness, true happiness in Allah, wa ma'rifata maka'id shaitan, until when he was sure that he understood the trick of shaitan, wa uyubin nafsi, and the evils of the self. Okay, the self-aggrandizement. حيث حققت العزلة أهدافها. So it's by this way, so the private seclusion that he gave to himself, the personal seclusion that he gave himself, حققت أهدافها, has achieved the aims and objectives. So when he was very sure that he has achieved his aim and objective, his mind has become pure, he has become sincere to himself and towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So after that, قرر العودة إلى الوطن. So he decided to return back to his city, والقيام بالتعليم الناس, to start teaching people and training them. وإفادة العلم ولا سيما. So وإفادة العلم. So he decided to serve knowledge in a very honest way. ولا سيما وقد شعر بحاجة الناس الماسة إلى ذلك. Most especially that he already understood the expectation of people and the demand of people for true knowledge. فقد جاءه الوزير فخر الملك ابن نظام الملك. So when immediately when Fakhr al-Mulk, Wazir Fakhr al-Mulk, when he heard that Imam al-Ghazali has returned back to Tus, his hometown, Muscat Ra'sihi, so جاءه وألح عليه غاية الإلهام. So he came visiting him. He came to Al-Ghazali visiting, and he insisted several times, not one time, not two times, not three times. So he came several times, Allah alayhi ghayat al-ilha, insisting and asking him an yaqbala bita'yinihi lahu, to accept his choice, to accept his appointment lil qiyam bit-tadris fi nizamiyya Nizabur, to accept to teach at the Madrasah al-Nizamiyya of Nizabur. Okay, he continued pressing him, asking him, pleading with him, illa an istajaba Imam al-Ghazali. So until finally Imam al-Ghazali accepted once again to go back to teaching. So by that, intakola ila Nisabur fi shahri dhul-Qa'dah sana 499. So he moved again to Nisabur in the Dhul-Qa'dah of 499 Hijri. So وهناك قام بالتدريس في المدرسة النظامية بها. So and he started teaching at the Madrasah al-Nizamiyya in Nisabur. Now, how many years, how long did he take there? Did he take long before returning back? No, he did not take that long, as long as he stayed in Madrasah al-Nizamiyya of Baghdad. He didn't stay that long. Okay, let's listen to Imam al-Ghazali in Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal. He talks about this. وها هو يروي قصة عودته إلى التدريس في كتابه المنقذ من الضلال فيقول. Okay, so here he narrates the incident that made him to go back to teaching at the Nizamiyya and Nisabur. So he explains this in his book Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal. Now, by the way, Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal, some people they regard that book as an autobiography. An autobiography is a book that an author writes his own life about himself, okay, by himself, writes about himself by himself and compile it before he dies. So that is autobiography. Okay, so many people consider Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal as an autobiography that was written by Imam al-Ghazali before his death. So anyway, so he narrates the reason for his going back to teaching at Nizamiyya Nisabur. He says, okay, اتفق في شهور سنة 499 هجرية أن كلفت بعد أن أزلت ولازمت الزاوية 12 سنة بالذهاب إلى النيسابور للتعليم ونشر الشريعة بما حصل من الركود والفتور في مجال العلم ونشره. وقام بتأييد ذلك الأعزاء المخلصون. وقام بتأييد ذلك الأعزاء المخلصون وألحوا علي في ذلك وحصلت وأصلت لي الإشارة الربانية وحصلت لي الإشارة الربانية في اليقظة والمنام بأن ذلك بداية خير وسبب لإحياء العلم والشريعة. So Imam al-Ghazali narrates that في شهر سنة في شهور سنة. So throughout the year 499 Hijrah, okay, in some months in the year 499, كلفت بعد أن إن أزلت. Okay, اتفق. It happens that, okay, اتفق أن كلفت بعد أن إن أزلت. Okay, so بعد أن إن أزلت, after after my seclusion, okay, after my seclusion, ولازمت الزاوية, after my staying in the Zawiya in Jamia Al-Humawi in Damascus. So after staying in Damascus, اثنتي عشرة سنة, for 12 years, okay, اتفق أن كلفت, okay, إلى نيسابور للتعليم, بالذهاب إلى نيسابور للتعليم. Okay, we read again. في شهور سنة 409, what is saying. So in the months, okay, in the months of year 499 Hijri, بعد أن إن أزلت ولازمت زاوية 12 سنة, so after spending 12 years in seclusion and in the Zawiya of Masjid of Jami'u al-Umawi in Damascus, to اتفق أن كلفت بالذهاب إلى نيسابور للتعليم. It happens that I was saddled with responsibility. I was given the responsibility to go to Nisabur again to teach. Okay, للتعليم, to teach at the Nisabur Madrasa Nizamiya, ونشر الشريعة, and to promote Sharia in Nisabur. So the reason was لما أصل من الركود والفتور في مجال العلم ونشره, because throughout the time that I left for 12 years, حصل الركود والفتور, there has been stagnancy and a lot of segregation, separation في مجال العلم, in the field of knowledge and teaching, ونشره, and spreading knowledge. Meaning to say, there has been a lot of misunderstandings and corruptions in the line of teaching and training. Okay? وقام بالتأييد ذلك الأعزاء المخلصون. So some people who came to me, تأييد ذلك, who supported that motion of the wazir, okay, Ibn Nizam al-Mulk. Okay, so some people, al-Aizza, great people, important personality that were sincere people, supported that. They came to me to plead on behalf of the wazir to accept his teaching at the Nizamiya. وَأَلَحُّ عَلَيَّ. So they insisted on me. They prevailed on me in that. I didn't want to do that, but they told me if I didn't do it, then a lot of things will continue to degrade, and things will continue to become rotten. There would be no one to put it in place in order. So they Allahu alayya. Okay. So by this, throughout that time that they were talking to me, they were encouraging me, I was also at the same time communicating with God. I was on istikhara with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And hasalat li al-isharatu rabbaniyya. I received the signal, the divine signal from Allah, fil yaqzati wal manam, both lively and in my dreams. I received the good direction from Allah, بِأَنَّ ذَلِكَ بِدَايَةُ خَيْرٍ, that I should accept their offer. So the acceptance, I'm going to Nizamiya in Nisabur, will be bidayatu khairin. It will be the beginning of good things. وَسَبَبٌ لِإِحْيَاءِ الْعِلْمِ وَالشَّرِيعَةِ. And it will be serve a purpose to revive knowledge and Sharia. That was the reason why I accepted. وأدرك الغزالي بعد كثير من الناس عن الدين وأن الحاجة ماست إلى عودته إلى القيام بالتعليم فقرر العودة. Okay, so Imam Al-Ghazali understood that. Okay, he realized that. He realized بعد كثير من الناس عن الدين. He realized that many people, majority of people, even among the scholars, they have been so far and distant from their religion. They are fascinated with umur dunya. وَأَنَّ الْحَاجَةَ مَاسَةٌ إِلَىٰ عَوْدَتِهِ. And it was highly necessary. There was a very strong necessity. Okay, it was no more a choice for him. It was an act of necessity. إِلَىٰ عَوْدَتِهِ إِلَى الْقِيَامِ بِالتَّعْلِيمِ. To return, for him to return back to teaching at Nizamiya in Naisabur. فَقَرَّرَ لِعَوْدَةً. So that was how and the reason why he decided to return to the class. So he said this, he narrates this by himself, still in Munkidu, min Abdullah. He says, فَلَمَّا رَأَيْتُ أَصْنَافًا مِنَ الْخَلْقِ بلغ بهم الضعف في الإيمان إلى هذا الحد انقدح في نفسي أن ذلك متعين علي في هذا الوقت ومهتم. وقلت في نفسي ماذا تغنيك الخلوة والعزلة وقد عم الداء ومرض الأتباع وأشرف الخلق على الهلاك. So he says, فَلَمَّا رَأَيْتُ أَصْنَافًا مِنَ الْخَلْقِ. When I saw various people, scholars, students, ru'asa, wuzara, ulama, I saw a lot of people, asnaf, many kinds of people. بَلَغَ بِهِمُ الضَّعْفُ فِي الْإِيمَانِ إِلَى هَذَا الْحَدِّ. When I saw that many people have been so weak in their iman, so weak. So when I saw that, in qadaha fi nafsi anna dhalika muta'ayyanun alayya. So it occurred to me, I realized in myself that dhalika muta'ayyanun alayya. It was necessary for me. It was now an act of obligation on me. Okay, في هذا الوقت ومهتم. At that particular time, at this time, and at this meeting time, وقلت في نفسي, then I said to myself, ماذا تغنيك الخلوة والعزلة? What are you going to gain in seclusion and in living a lonely life? وقد عم الداء, when everyone is sick, ومرض الأتباع, and the doctors and the medics that are going to cure them are also sick. وَأَشْرَفَ الْخَلْقُ عَلَى الْهَلَاكِ, and people are almost going towards destruction. So what are you going to gain from secluding yourself and limiting yourself to isolation in your home? What are you going to gain? You have to go out. I said to myself, now it is time to go back to Naisabur, to save humanity, number one, to save Islam, number two, to control and redirect people towards Tariqat al-Najah, number three. Yeah, it became, now at that time, that particular time, it was no wish of Imam Al-Ghazali to go back, but it became necessary. It became not Faridat al-Kifaya on him, it became Faridat Ayniyya on him. It became an obligatory act on him, because there was, if he didn't do it, no one was going to do it, and the condition of people was going to be degenerated. Now, so that was how he went back to Naisabur. But again, he came back to TUS, finally, never to go to anywhere again until his death in TUS. Okay, so we read that Al-Awdatu ila TUS, a return to his return back to TUS. Okay, and the question that you may want to ask is that كم مكث إمام الغزالي في مدرسة النظامية في نيسابور. The question that you may want to ask is, how long did Imam al-Ghazali stay? How many years did he spend in Neysabur, in the Madrasa to Nizamiya in Neysabur, when he went back? Okay, it will surprise you that it was not even up to a year. He didn't spend up to a year. Okay, because he left around the Qa'dah of 499, and he came back to TUS again in the year 500 Hijriya. So approximately 1 year. We can say approximately 1 year, because 499 and he came back 500, but was not completely 1 year, 12 months. Okay, it was not completely 12 months, but we can say approximately, because more than 6 months already. Okay, so وقد استمر الغزالي على التدريس في نظامية نيسابور قرابة سنة. So Imam al-Ghazali continued teaching at the Nizamiya of Neysabur for about a year. Okay. ثم ترك التدريس بنيسابور وعاد إلى بلده توس وألقى مرة أخرى بها عصا التسيار. And he went back to TUS, returned finally to TUS, and there Alqa biha asot tisyar. You know, this is the second time. The first time, Alqa asot tisyar ba'da awdatihi in Damascus. So he stopped traveling about. So he ended his traveling. Okay, first time when he came from Damascus, he decided never to travel out of TUS again. But due to the present condition of people and the Ummah, he had to go to Neysabur. But again, approximately a year again, so he returned back. Then Maratan Ukhra Alqa Asa at this year. He decided never to travel to anywhere again. And that was the final. After that, Imam al-Ghazali did not travel, did not even leave his house. Okay, because at that time, so he knew that people were in need of him. People wanted to come to him to learn, to study. So beside his house, beside his house, he takhada madrasatan. So he built a school there. He built a school beside his house, لطلبة العلم, for students. So وأقبل الناس على الأخذ عنه كما كانوا من قبل. So people started flourishing towards him, going to him again the way they were doing before, the way they were when he was at Baghdad and when he was at Neysabur. So people started rushing towards him again. ووزع أوقاته على الحاضرين عنده من تدريس في شتى الفنون العلمية إلى تلاوة القرآن إلى غير ذلك من الأعمال الجليلة بحيث لا تخلو لحظة من لحظاته هو ومن حوله عن التحصيل والفائدة والازدياد من العلم والمعرفة. So he divided his time وزع أوقاته يعني قسم أوقاته okay على الحاضرين. So he gave different times to people. Okay, he allocated times for people. Okay, people, those of you who are in need of fiqh, you come at so time. People who want to study hadith come to so time. People who want to study Quran come to so time. People who want to study tafsir come to so time. Some people who want to study Sufism come to so time. So what's awqatahu ala al-hadirina indahu? Okay, so he distributed his time to the people, to the students. He's starting from تدريس في شتى الفنون العلمية, so teaching various disciplines of knowledge, okay, teaching Quran, okay, and many other amalul jalila, many other great works and community services and activities. So he divided, he controlled his time, he distributed his time so much so that there was never a free time for him. Okay, بحيث لا تخلو لحظة من لحظاته. So to a point that there was no free time for him that he was free عن التحصيل والفائدة, from teaching people, from benefiting people, and from people seeking more knowledge and education from him. ومع ما كان الإمام الغزالي يقوم به من نشر العلم كان أيضا يقوم بأعباء الدعوة ويواجه ولاة الأمر والحكام بالموعظة والنصيحة. Okay, at the same time, when Imam Al-Ghazali was busy spreading knowledge, teaching people, he was at the same time undergoing the burden of dawah, the dawah activity. Okay, so yuwajihu wulat al-amr. So directing his dawah towards wulat al-amr, those in the saddle of leadership, the authority. Okay, wal hukam, the judges. Bil-mu'izati wan-nasiha. So he used to talk to them and advise them. وَيُنْكِرُ عَلَيْهِمْ, when he sees anything bad that they are doing, so he warned them. Okay, he would warn them to desist from doing what is irrational. وَيَكْتُبُ إِلَيْهِمْ بِذَلِكَ, he wrote many letters to many of them. وَيُرَدَّعُهُمْ عَنِ الظُّلْمِ وَمُخَالَفَةِ الشَّرْعِ الشَّرِيفِ. So he warned them to desist and stop injustice and going against the Sharia. وقد عاش الإمام الغزالي أثناء حكم السلاجقة الأتراك الذين حكموا أكثر مناطق العالم الإسلامي في القرن الخامس الهجري، وكانوا سنيين ويعظمون العلم والعلماء ويتقبلون نصيحتهم وتوجيههم، ومن عنايتهم بالعلم وإجلالهم للإمام الغزالي أنهم حاولوا بعد عودته إلى الطوس أن يقنعوه بالعودة إلى التدريس في نظامية بغداد فاعتذر. Imam al-Ghazali lived during the reign of Salajika, Seljuk and the Turks' reign. Reign, R-E-I-G-N, R-E-I-G-N. Okay, during the reign, that is, during the Khilafah, during the leadership, okay, during the leadership of the Seljuks and the Turks. الذين حكموا أكثر مناطق العالم الإسلامي. So those were the people who controlled majority of the Muslim nations and country at that time in the 5th century Hijra. and they were Sunniyin. They were Sunnite people, يعني بعض السنة Sunniyin, ويعظمون العلم والعلماء. They used to recognize the important and great place of knowledge and the scholars. ويتقبلون نصيحتهم وتوجيههم, and they used to seek the advice and direction of the scholars. ومن عنايتهم بالعلم وإجلالهم للإمام الغزالي, so based on their love and their desire, based on their likeness, based on their trust on Imam Al-Ghazali, okay, based on their love for knowledge and the importance they attach to Imam Al-Ghazali. أنهم حاولوا بعد عودته إلى تونس. So they tried again after the second return of Imam Al-Ghazali to Tus. They tried again. This Salajika and Atrak, they tried again to convince Imam Al-Ghazali, okay, and they tried to convince him again بالعودة إلى التدريس في نظامية Baghdad, to go back to teach at Nizamiya Baghdad, at the Madrasa to Nizamiya school in Baghdad. But at this time, Tazar al-Imamu Falam Ya'ud. Imam al-Ghazali did not. He excused himself. He carefully rejected that offer, and that was the end. والمدرسة النظامية ببغداد تعد بمثابة جامعة بناها الوزير نظام الملك السلجوقي لتكون في دار الخلافة مصدر إشعاع للعلم والمعارف ومنبعا للفضل ومأوى للأئمة والعلماء ومقصدا لطلاب العلم. So this, I think we talked about it in the last week class, the importance of Madrasatu Al-Nizamiya As-Salijuti. Okay? And but we're still going to translate that. And the Madrasatu Nizamiya in Baghdad is considered as a Jamia, is considered as a university. Okay? The Mathabat, the Manzila, yani the Makani Jamia. So it represents a university, a Jamia, that was built by Minister Nizam al-Mulk Saljuqi. So he built that school لتكون في دار الخلافة مصدر إشعاع للعلم والمعارف. So that school, that university, that Jamia will be مصدر إشعاع للعلم والمعارف, will be a foundation of what? Of spreading knowledge and information في دار الخلافة, in the ruling, in the caliphate, in the region, in the kingdom. Okay, so he built it to become منبعا للفضل, okay, a source of virtue and importance. ومأوى للأئمة والعلماء. He built it to become a gathering place for Aimma, for the scholars and the fuqaha. ومقصدا لطلاب العلم. He built it to become a meeting point, a desirous point for all students of knowledge. So, تعرض الإمام الغزالي للأذى الأساد والأعداء. So if you remember, in the account of some scholars, the contemporary scholars with Imam al-Ghazali, so they alleged that أصابته العين من قبل المسلمين. Okay, so they alleged that what the spiritual crisis that he had was due to witchcraft and spiritual attack that was afflicted upon him by some by some Muslims, by some other scholars of his contemporary, those who hated him, those who did not like him. Okay? Now, we cannot say no to that because, of course, there is a qaida in Balagha. There's a qaida in Balagha. I'm going to write it here. Okay, there's that qaida in Balagha says, إذا كان عدوك نملة. Okay, إذا كان, I'm going to write in Arabic first. إذا كان عدوك إذا كان عدوك نمل. إذا كان عدوك نمل فلا تنمل. Okay, نملة. Okay, إذا كان عدوك نملة فلا تنمل. فلا تنمل. تنمل. Now, إذا كان عدوك نملة فلا تنمل. Okay, that is one way to read it. Okay, I sent it already. Can you see? إذا كان عدوك نملة فلا تنمل. So, in reciting that, you might think there is confusion, but there is no. Okay, the first aduwu. Okay, إذا كان عدو, you can read it separately. You separate the ka. Then you say إذا كان عدو كنملة. Then the waslul kafi wa namla, the jumla. So then you كنملة. إذا كان عدو كنملة فلا تنملها. فلا تنملها. So namla of first, it is jumla, namla, namlatun. But tanamla, so there are two words. So the number one is tanam. So that is in the fi'l mudari', tanam, from an-nawm, lah, lahu, or laha. Now, what is the point here is that Imam al-Ghazali, rahimahullah, lived in a time when a lot of scholars migrated from their own countries and their own town and cities to come to Baghdad in order to become famous and to gain the benefits from the what do we call it? From the generosity of Nizamul Mulk Saljuki. So now to come there and find someone to stop them from taking that advantage, they would do everything to take him out of the way. They would do everything to take him out of the way. All right? So just like this example, just look at this example. You are in a class, okay, of about, let's say, about 50 students in a class, let's say, for example. So you are in the same class, and you have this particular student always coming 4.0, 4.0, 4.0 every semester without reduction, 4.0, only him. So what are you going to think of yourself? Oh, you have not come to UniSZA to sleep. You have not come to UniSZA to play. You have not come to UniSZA to joke around. You have also come to UniSZA to excel. Of course, sometimes as a human being, there's going to be, there is tendency for assets to generate and start from there. Oh, only him, this and that. And of course, every lecturer will focus their attention on that student. The Kismu will also focus attention on that student. The faculty also will focus attention on that student, most especially if the record has reached the Senate. The university will also focus their attention on that student. So that kind of student may become chosen by the university as the student leader, president. So what are you going to think about that? So from there, Kal-Insan, just like Adami, a human being, so the hazard might come from there. And kullu dhi ni'matin masuda, you know that, okay? So that we should expect the same thing with Imam Al-Ghazali. So we cannot rule out, we cannot say that there was no asset against him in what happened to him. Okay, we have to give room for that. Although he also spiritually he confessed that whatever everything that he was doing, ليست خالصة لوجه الله, لم تكن خالصة لوجه الله, in what we have said before. So he already confessed that everything he was doing was not خالصة لوجه الله, was not sincerely to Allah. Okay, so that was also one cause, personally. But again, additionally, there was some, there tends to be some asad, witchcraft against him. Okay, tapi Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, man aradahu bi khair, yufaqihu fi din, we guide him right. So Allah wished that he comes back quickly to the right path. That was why Allah afflicted Allah. Maybe some people did some sihr to stop him, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he wanted goodness for Imam Al-Ghazali, he approved their sihr. Okay, he approved their sihr because it was going to benefit Imam Al-Ghazali spiritually. It was going to make him a better person for himself. So Allah approved the hasad of the Husad, the sihr of the Sahara, okay, the hikdu of the Hukad, the nafasat of the nafasat. Okay, so he approved it for the benefit that he wanted for Imam Al-Ghazali. Now we are going to read تعرض الإمام الغزالي لأذى الحساد والأعداء وعداوة الأعداء. لقد عانى الإمام الغزالي الكثير من أذى الحساد والأعداء وكيدهم، فقد وشوا به عند السلطان سنجر حتى أجبره على الحضور من توس إلى المعسكر بنيسابور. ولما فشل كيدهم وخابت حيلتهم عمدوا إلى كتبه فدسوا فيها زيادات تخالف معتقد أهل السنة والجماعة. You see? Subhanallah. Imam Al-Ghazali suffered a lot of harm. Okay, لقد عانى الإمام الغزالي الكثير من أذى الأساد. Imam Al-Ghazali suffered a lot of harm from haters and enemies and their evil deeds. He suffered a lot from them. Of course, who would not? Who would not? It was not only him after all. Okay, there were many other scholars who also wanted to flourish. For only you to flourish, tabulela. So we have to do something. So فَقَدْ وَشَّوْا بِهِ عِنْدَ سُلْطَانِ سَنْجَرٍ. So they reported him, they caused fitna between him and Sultan Senjar. You remember that Imam Al-Ghazali has decided never to leave Naysabur. Okay, sorry, never to leave Tus after Ilqa Asad Tisyan. But there's a lot of things happen. What shall be? They caused fitna. They talked about him. They reported him of plotting some kaid against the the Sultan. So the Sultan ordered him to come to Naysabur, to the camp, to the Muaskar in Naysabur. Ijbaran. Okay? He ordered him to come. Okay? Then when he arrived there, he explained himself, he clarified himself, and Sultan understood that this was nothing but hatred. So through that, fashala kayduhum, their plot was not successful. Wa khabat hilatuhum, their plan was aborted. So when they saw that their plot and their plan was unsuccessful, then they tried something else. And this time, what they did was more devastating than the first one they did. What did they do? Amadu ila kutubihi fadassu fiha siyadat. So they went to his book. They interfered with the books of Imam Al-Ghazali. Fadassu fiha siyadat. They put some addition. They cooked some additional information in the book. They added some information to khalifu mu'taqid Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah that was not in line with the aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So they added it, then they spread it and published it among people. So when people started reading, then they suspected Imam Al-Ghazali as Ahl Sandaka. We think it's a Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Why did he write this? You know, hatred and all this gossiping, it goes round so quickly that the person that is gossip does not even know. So Imam Al-Ghazali, rahimahullah, was unaware of this until when he noticed people's distancing from him. Okay, and it took him time to correct that impression from people. Okay, even until today, we still have some book, some khawatim that they alleged that they belong to Imam Al-Ghazali, some things that are related to Al-Awfaq. Al-Awfaq, a branch of knowledge, although if we check it properly, it will not be haram, but what you use it for, may be haram. Okay, the ilm al-awfaq, it is just like ilm al-arqam. Okay, if you want to know more about that, you may read some book of Abdul Fattah al-Tuhi. Okay, he writes many things about
اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم
Imam
يعلم.
Al-Ghazali was alleged to have written a book like this, okay, which to some scholars of Aqidah is not like Imam Al-Ghazali's book. Okay, so some of these kind of things that they did, they interfered with his book. Okay, so وها هو حجة الإسلام يحدث عن ذلك ويقول. Okay, Imam Al-Ghazali, the Hujjat al-Islam, he talks about that incident by himself. He says, وَلَمَّا أَسْتَجِيبُتُ, okay, وَلَمَّا اسْتَجَبْتُ الدَّعْوَةَ, okay, وَلَمَّا اسْتَجَبْتُ الدَّعْوَةَ وَاسْتَمَرَّ عمل التدريس ناشطا وأخذ طلاب العلم يفدون من نواهي العالم، يعني يفدون يعني ياتون، أوكي، يدخلون، أوكي، من نواهي العالم هاج أسد الهساد، ولم يجدوا أي طعن مقبول غير أنهم لبثوا الحق بالباطل وغيروا كل ما في كتاب المنقذ من الضلال وكتاب مشكاة الأنوار، وأدخلوا فيهما كلمات كفر وأرسلوا الكتابين إلي لأكتب عليهما الإجازة، فألهمني الله فتصفحتهما، فاطلعت على تلبيسهم، واطلع على ذلك أيضا حاكم خراسان فأمر بحبس المزور، المزور يعني المزور، ثم نفاء من نيسابور. قال كما دسوا أيضا في كتاب المنخول، في كتاب المنخول. Okay, المنخول, this منخول is المنخول في UniSZA or something like that, but that is not the complete name. Okay, كما دسوا أيضا في كتاب المنخول كلمات تطعن في الإمام أبي حنيفة، وهاشا الغزالي أن يطعن في الإمام أبي حنيفة. So Imam Al-Ghazali says this about the incident. وَلَمَّا اسْتَجَبْتُ دَعْوَةً, when I accepted the appointment of Nizam to teach at Nizamiya at Nizabur, when they saw again that I accepted the teaching at Nizabur again, وَاسْتَمَرَّ عَمَلُ التَّدْرِيسُ نَاشِطًا, when they noticed, when they saw that the teaching activity was also active, was flourishing, it started flourishing again. وَأَخَذَ طُلَابُ الْعِلْمِ يَفِدُّونَ مِنْ نَوَاهِ الْعَالَمِ, and students again for the second time started rushing and coming to Nesabo from all parts of the world. When they saw that again, Haja Asadul Usadi. So the hatred of the haters rose up, started. Okay? وَلَمْ يَجِدُوا أَيَّ طَعْنٍ مَقْبُولٍ. So they were looking for all plots, everything, every way to tarnish my image, and they didn't see أَيَّ طَعْنٍ مَقْبُولٍ. They didn't see any acceptable way to tarnish my image. غير أنهم لبسوا الحق بالباطل. Okay? They didn't see any other way except corrupting the truth with the false, mixing things and facts together. وغيروا كل ما في كتاب المنقذ من الضلال. They changed, they interpolated, they corrupted the contents of my book Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal and the content of my book Al-Mishkat al-Anwar. وَأَدْخَلُوا فِيهِمَا كَلِمَاتُ كُفْرٍ. So they inserted into them some blasphemous words, some words that were not belonging to Ahlul Millah. وَأَرْسَلُوا الْكِتَابِينِ إِلَيَّ. And again, they were so bold enough, they were so bold that they sent the two interpolated books to me. لِأَكْتُبَ عَلَيْهِمَا الْإِجَازَةِ. They wanted me to write preface and introduction on it. They wanted me to comment, to write my comment, my approval on the two books. So, فَأَلْهَمَنِيَ اللَّهُ. Allah inspired into me. Allah guided me right through his ilham and hidayah. فَتَصَفَّحْتُهُمَا. I read the books, the two books, page by page. I went through the pages of the two books. فَاطَّلَعْتُ عَلَى تَلْبِيسِهِمْ. And I understood, I saw, طَلَعْتُ قَرَأْتُ. So I read, I saw their interpolations. I saw their corruptions. وَاطَّلَعَ عَلَى ذَلِكَ أَيْضًا حَاكِمُ خُرَاسَانَ. Okay, and the judge of Khurasan also saw the book, because I sent it to him to see what they did. And he also read it, he checked it, took my original book and took their interpolation, compared them together, and when he was sure that it was true interpolation, فَأَمَرَ بِحَبْسِ الْمُزَوِّرِ. So he commanded that the muzawwir, the corrupter, the interpolator, the one who corrupted my book, he ordered that he be captured. He arrested him. Okay, he ordered for his arrest. ثُمَّ نَفَاءُ مِنْ نِيسَابُورَ. And he exiled him, nafahu. He exiled him, E-X-I-L-E-D, exile, E-X-I-L-E-D. So he exiled him, that is, he sent him out of Naisabur. Okay, that was one. Another one, okay, in addition to that, DUSU أيضا في كتاب المنخول كلمات تطعن في الإمام أبي حنيفة. They also interfered in my book Al-Mankhul, that is, they also interpolated my book Al-Mankhul. They put into it, they inserted into it, they added into it some statements that tarnished the personality of Imam Abu Hanifa. وحاشا الغزالي أن يطعن في الإمام أبو حنيفة. Imam Al-Ghazali would never ever talk bad about Imam Abu Hanifa. That is some of the calamities and the hatred that Imam Al-Ghazali witnessed. Now, Shuyukh al-Imam Al-Ghazali, the teachers, okay, we can say simply the teachers, okay, the teachers of Imam Al-Ghazali, so the people that he learned from. So if you notice, when we were reading his biography, we mentioned Imam Al-Haramain, we mentioned Sheikh Ahmad Al-Razakani, we mentioned Sheikh Ismaili, okay, Ibn Mus'ida. We mentioned about three of them before. So now we want, let's see what additional information do we have here. Okay, Shuyukh al-Imam Al-Ghazali, the teachers of Imam Al-Ghazali. قرأ الإمام الغزالي بمدينة توسي أولا على أستاذه الشيخ
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Okay. قرأ الإمام الغزالي بمدينة طوس أولا على أستاذه الشيخ أحمد الرازقاني، ثم على أستاذه في جرجان إسماعيل ابن مسعدة، ثم على أستاذه الأكبر من نيسابور إمام الحرمين أبي المعالي عبد الملك الجويني الذي لازمه وجد عنده واجتهد، فأعجب الأستاذ بتلميذه وأحبه واحترمه، واستمر معه يأخذ عنه كل العلوم ولا سيما الفقه وأصوله إلى أن توفي إمام الحرمين سنة 478 هجرية، وهو أعظم الشيوخ الغزالي، وله الدور الأكبر في تعليم الغزالي وتدريبه في مختلف العلوم والمناظرة فيها، فقد أذن له في حياته أن يجلس على كرسيه ليدرس الطلبة أو ليدرس الطلبة أو يعيد درس الإمام عليهم. وأخذ الحديث عن محمد الحفص المروزي، وعن الحاكم نصر الحاتمي، وعن عبد الله الخواري، وعن محمد بن يحيى الزوزاني، وعن الشيخ نصر بن إبراهيم المقدسي. So Imam al-Ghazali started studying in Medina Tus with Sheikh Ahmad al-Razakani. Then after that at Jurjan, he studied with Sheikh Ismail ibn Mus'ad. And after that at Nisabur, he studied with Imam al-Haramain, الذي لازمه ووجد عنده. He stayed longer with Imam al-Haramain, wajtahada, and he put a lot of effort. And Ustaz, Sheikh Imam al-Haramain, ajaba bitilmizihi, he was fascinated with the character of Imam al-Ghazali, wa ahabbahu, he loved him واحترمه, and he respected his opinion. واستمر معه يأخذ عنه كل العلوم. Imam al-Ghazali stayed with Imam al-Haramain, taking and studying all types of all kinds of knowledge, most especially knowledge related to fiqh and usul al-fiqh, until the death of Imam al-Haramain in the year 478 Hijri. وهو أعظم شيوخ الغزالي. So Imam al-Haramain was the greatest of the teachers of Imam al-Ghazali, of Imam al-Ghazali, who was the greatest teacher of Imam al-Ghazali, and وله الدور الأكبر في تعليم الغزالي. So he played a great important role, in a greater role in education of al-Ghazali and in training him in various forms of knowledge. He also trained him in munazara, in debating activities. فقد أذن له في حياته. Imam al-Haramain appointed and allowed Imam al-Ghazali during his lifetime أن يجلس على كرسيه, to sit on his throne, on his chair, يدرس الطلبة, to teach other students, أو يعيد درس الإمام عليهم, or to revise the study with them. وأخذ الحديث عن محمد الحفصة. So he studied hadith from Sheikh Muhammad al-Afasi al-Mazuri, and he also studied hadith with Al-Hakim Nasr al-Hakimi, also studied hadith from Abdullah al-Khawari, also studied from Muhammad bin Yahya al-Zuzuni, and also studied from Sheikh Nasr ibn Ibrahim al-Maqdisi. So now, Talamiz al-Ghazali, the students of Imam al-Ghazali. ليس من السهل أصل وتعريف تلاميذ الإمام الغزالي والآخذين عنه لكثرتهم، والغزالي نفسه يقول وقد مر علي أكثر من 1000 طالب. So it is not easy to know the number, the actual number of students of Imam al-Ghazali and those who studied and learned from him, because there were so many. So Imam al-Ghazali himself said, وَقَدْ مَرَّ عَلَيَّ أَكْثَرُ مِنْ 1000 طالب. وَقَدْ مَرَّ عَلَيَّ أَكْثَرُ مِنْ 1000 طالب. I have trained over 1,000 students. Okay, لَقَدْ مَرَّ عَلَيَّ أَكْثَرُ مِنْ 1000 طالب. Okay, over 1,000, more than 1,000 students have been trained through me. ويقول تلميذه القاضي أبو بكر ابن العربي رأيته أي الغزالي ببغداد يحضر درسه نحو 400 إمامة من أكابر الناس وفضلائهم يقولون.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حافظوا على الصلوات والصلاة الوسطى وقوموا لله قانتين.
Abu Bakr ibn Arabi, he says, رأيت الغزالي ببغداد. I saw Imam al-Ghazali in Baghdad, and when I saw him, يحضر درسه نحو 400 إمامة. So I saw about 400 turbans, about 400 people putting on imama, okay, attending his lecture. And these were akabir al-nas, great scholars, وفضلائهم, and important people, يأخذون عنه العلم, taking and studying with him. So, فمن تلاميذه, some of his students are Ibrahim ibn Muzhar al-Jurjani al-Sabak, Al-Qadi Abu Nasr al-Bahuni, Abu al-Fathi Ahmad ibn Ali Burhani, Al-Hussein ibn Nasr al-Jahni, Khalafu ibn Ahmad, Yaksh al-Naimi, Abu al-Wafa'i Rustum bin Sa'd al-Khawari, Al-Rida bin Mahdi al-Zaidi, Sa'du al-Khairi al-Blansi, Sa'id ibn Muhammad al-Razazi, Shafi'i bin Abdul Rashid al-Jili, Amir ibn Dakshi al-Ansari, Abdul Karim bin Ali al-Razi, Ali bin Muhammad bin Hamawiya al-Juwaini, Ali bin Muslim al-Salami, Muhammad ibn Abdullah al-Maruf bil-Qadi Abi Bakr ibn al-Arabi al-Maliki, wa Abu Hamid Muhammad bin Abdul Maliki al-Juskani al-Isfraili. So these are some of his students. Okay. Now we talk about mu'allafatuhu, the writings of Imam al-Ghazali, that is kutubuhu. يعد الإمام الغزالي من العلماء المكثرين في مجال التاليف. Imam al-Ghazali was considered one of the scholars, great scholars, who wrote many things, who presented who published many things, a lot, in the field of publication. فَقَدْ بَارَكَ اللَّهُ فِي عُمُرِهِ وَوَقْتِهِ وَعِلْمِهِ. Allah has blessed the life of Imam al-Ghazali. He blessed his time, he blessed his knowledge. فألف كتبا كثيرة في مختلف العلوم والفنون باللغة العربية وباللغة الفارسية. So he wrote a lot of books in various forms of knowledge, both in Arabic language and in Persian language. وذكروا أنهم أحسوا الكتب التي ألفها ووزعت على عمره، فخص كل يوم 4 كراريس، وذلك من بركة العمر التي يمنحها الله لمن شاء من عباده. And some people mention that they counted the book that Imam al-Ghazali wrote, and distributed throughout his time. فخص كل يوم 4 كراريس. And every day, they specifically would count about four, let's say, 4 notebooks, 4 kurasa. Okay. وذلك من بركة الأمر التي يمنحها الله لمن شاء من عباده. So that was based on the barakah, blessing, in the age, in the years of Imam al-Ghazali, that Allah gives to whomever he wishes among his servants. وقد ترجم كثير من كتبه إلى اللغات الأجنبية. Many of his books have been translated into foreign languages. ونكتفي هنا بذكر بعض مؤلفاته. So we are going to mention some of his books here. Number 1, Al-Wasit. Number 2, Al-Basit. Number 3, Al-Wajiz. Number 4, Al-Khulasa. All these are on fiqh. Another one, Al-Manukhul, Shifa'ul Ghalil, Tahdhib al-Usul, Al-Mustasfa min Ilm al-Usul, Ihya Ulumuddin, Minhaj al-Abidin, Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal, Tahafut al-Falasifa, Bidayat al-Hidayah, Al-Maqsad al-Asna, and Al-Radd ala al-Batiniyah. These are some in philosophy. If tawadu'uhu, the respect, the humility, the humbleness of Imam al-Ghazali, وما أما بلغه الإمام الغزالي من سعة العلم وكثرة المصنفات. With the high position that Imam al-Ghazali achieved in various knowledge and many writings and publications, وما أما حصل به وبكتبه من عظيم النفع, with the type of popularity and fame that Imam al-Ghazali has through his books and through the benefits that were generated from his book, فَقَدْ كَانَ عَظِيمُ التَّوَادُعُ شأنه في ذلك شأن العلماء الذين هم كالأشجار المثمرة كلما زادت ثمارها زاد انحناؤها. So with all this fame, popularity, knowledge, فقد كان Imam al-Ghazali عظيم التواضع. Imam al-Ghazali had a very great respect and humbleness. He was greatly humbled. شأنه في ذلك شأن العلماء. So his habit in humbleness and humility was like that of other great scholars. الذين هم كالأشجار المثمرة. Those who are like fruitful trees, okay, fruitful trees. كلما زادت ثمارها. The much the fruit on the tree, زاد انحناؤها, the lower it becomes for people to profit. فقد قال ابن السمعاني قرأت في كتاب كتبه الغزالي إلى أبي حامد أحمد ابن سلامة بالموصل، فقال في خلال فصوله: أما الوعظ فلا أرى نفسي أهلا له، لأن الوعظ زكاة نصابه الاتعاظ، فمن لا نصاب له كيف يخرج الزكاة، وفاقد الثوب كيف يستر غيره، ومتى يستقيم الذل والعود أعوج. Imam Ibn Sam'ani says, I read a letter that Imam Al-Ghazali wrote to Abu Hamid Ahmad ibn Salama in Mosul. I read that letter. I came across a letter that was written by Imam Al-Ghazali to Abu Hamid. فقال في خلال فصوله. So in one of the chapters of the letter, of the book, of the treatise, Imam Al-Ghazali wrote that أما الوعظ, with respect to giving wa'az to people, فلا أرى نفسي أهلا له. I don't think I'm the right person to give you wa'az, to advise you. Okay? فلا أرى نفسي أهلا له. I don't see myself in that position. لأن الوعظ زكاة. Because wa'azu, admonition, giving advice, is like a zakat. Nisabuhu al-itti'az. So the nizab, the responsibility of the wa'az, is to be accepted. Okay, for the wa'aza, for the person who gives the wa'az himself, to have the quality of the warning, of the advice that he is given to another person. So فَمَنْ لَا نِصَابَ لَهُ, the one who does not have enough, okay, enough for zakat, okay, كَيْفَ يُخْرِجُ الزَّكَاةِ, how does he give zakat? That is to say, I myself, I do not have enough of advice for myself. I have not followed enough. Okay, so how can I give you what I don't have? وَفَاقِدُ الثَّوْبِ كَيْفَ يَسْتُرُ غَيْرَهُ. And the person who is naked, who does not have a clothes for himself, how can he cover other people? How can he give clothes to other people? وَمَتَى يَسْتَقِيمُ الذِّلُّ وَالْعُودُ أَعْوَجُ. And how can the zillu, the shadow of a thing, shadow, shadow, okay? How can the shadow of a tree be straight? How do we expect the shadow of the tree to be straight, to be upright, وَالْعُودُ أَعْوَجُ, and the tree itself is not in a straight form. How can we expect a tree to be, the shadow of a tree to be straight when the tree itself is not straight? That is to say, how do we expect an advice from the person who himself is in need of advice? So that is what Imam Al-Ghazali was pointing at. So, Khatima, okay, Fatima, the conclusion of the biography of Imam Al-Ghazali. وَلَقَدْ اتَّفَقَ جُمْهُورُ الْمُتَرْجِمِينَ لِلْغَزَالِ على إمامته وانطلقت الألسن بالثناء عليه وشهد له المخالف والموافق بالتقدم والكمال كما شهد العلماء من معاصريه بفضله وتمكنه. اتفق جمهور المترجمين. The biographers, sorry, something went into my eyes, but it's okay. I will be fine. اتفق جمهور المترجمين للغزالي على إمامته. The Jumhur, majority of the biographers about Al-Ghazali, agree unanimously to call him an imam. They all agree on his imamship. They say he is an imam. Majority of them will write Imam Al-Ghazali. وَانْطَلَقَتِ الْأَلْسُنُ بِالثَّنَاءِ عَلَيْهِ. And the tongue of people always praise him. If you look in the environment of Malay, the Malaysian environment, most particularly among the Malays, Imam Al-Ghazali is greatly loved, and he occupied an important place in the heart of the Malay people, which is good. Okay, وَشَهِدَ لَهُ الْمُخَالِفُ وَالْمُوَافِقُ بِالتَّقَدُّمِ وَالْكَمَالِ. Those who oppose him, al-Mukhalif, and those who agreed with him, both of them, شَهِدَ لَهُ بِالتَّقَدُّمِ وَالْكَمَالِ. Both of them agree that Imam Al-Ghazali was an advanced scholar and he was a perfect scholar. كما شهد العلماء من معاصريه بفضله وتمكنه. And the scholars of his contemporaries, the scholars of his time who lived at the same age with him, they also witnessed that, they also approved that he was a virtuous person and that he was an important person. لم تر العيون مثله بيانا ومنطقا وذكاء وطبعا. We have not seen anyone like him, bayanan, in giving explanation, wamantikon, in logic, zaka'an, in brilliance, watab'an, in nature. فهو أنظر أهل زمانه. He was the most famous of the scholars of his time. وأوحد أقرانه. He was one among his contemporaries. لقد ذاع صيته في الآفاق. His name was heard throughout everywhere. وأعجب الجميع بتدريسه ومناظرته. And many scholars were fascinated with his method of teaching and his method of debating. وصار بعد إمامة خراسان إمام العراق كله. So after being Imam of Khurasan, he was Imam Baghdad, and he became Imam al-Iraq kullu. Okay? وهو مجدد القرن الخامس الهجري. He was the reviver of the 5th century of Hijrah. وقد قال صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله يبعث لهذه الأمة على رأس كل 100 سنة من يجدد لها أمر دينها. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have already said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send at the point of every year, at every century, every 100 years, at every century, Allah will send one person, يجدد لها أمر دينها, to the Ummah, who will revive the affairs of the religion. And that was Imam al-Ghazali in Al-Qarn al-Khamis. فكان في المئة الأولى Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. In the 1st century, the first 100 years, we had Umar ibn Abdul Aziz as the Mujaddid. وفي المئة الثانية, in the second 100, we had Imam al-Shafi'I as Mujaddid. وفي الثالثة, in the 3rd century, we have Al-Ash'ari or Ibn Sarid. Okay. In the Qarn al-Rabi'a, we have Isfraini. Okay. And في القرن الخامسة, we have Hujjat al-Islam, Imam al-Ghazali. قال السيوطي وليس في كونه مجددا تردد. He says that Imam Sayuti says there is no taraddud, there is no confusion in calling Imam al-Ghazali a reviver. There is no confusion, there is no doubt about it. Okay, there is no doubt about being Mujaddid. وما زال الإمام الغزالي طيلة عمره المبارك علما يهتدى به ينشر العلوم. Throughout his life, طيلة عمره المبارك, so throughout his blessed life, okay, Imam al-Ghazali was alaman, was a flag, was a symbol, yuhtada bihi, that everyone follow. Yanshur al-ulum, he spread all kinds and all forms of knowledge. Wa yufti wa yu'allif, he gave al-iftar, al-fitya, that is fatawa. He gave fatawa. Wa yu'allifu, he wrote books. Wa yurshidu, he taught people. Wa yuqari'u al-mubtadi'a, he attacked the people of innovators. Min al-firaq ad-dala ila an tawaffahu Allah, until he died bi masqati ra'sihi, at his birthplace in Madinat al-Tus, Yawm al-Ithnain, on Monday, 14th of Jumad al-Akhirah, in year 505. Rahimahullahu wa radiya anhu wa ardahu. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallama. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. So this biography was written by Sheikh Hussein ibn Muhammad ibn al-Hadi al-Saqaf on 20th Jumad al-Akhirah 1414. So I think this is where we are going to stop today, inshallah. And in the next class, bi-idhnillah, we are going to start from page 59. We're going to start from page 59 on next class, inshallah. So we are going to stop here, bi-idhnillah. I wish you all blessed iftar. This is the first day of Ramadan for us here, but for the people in Africa, Nigeria, Saudi, and some other places, they started their Ramadan yesterday. So today will be second day for them. Okay. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala an yataqabbala minna siyamana wa qiyamana wa ruku'ana wa tilawatana wa sujudana wa tahajjudana wa atwashana wa kulla ma qaddamnaha fi hadhihi الشهر المباركة إنه على ذلك قدير وبالإجابة جدير. فبذلك وبالتالي, so this is 4:43. So we agree on ending the class 15 minutes earlier. So I think it is almost the time. So al-mu'minuna ala ahdihim. So we have to stay on our appointment, on our promise. So I cannot go beyond this. So astaudinukum wa nafsi fi ri'ayatillahi alladhi la tudhi'u wada'i'ahu wa hatta ونستكفي بهذا القدر والكفاية حتى نلتقي في محاضرة القادمة إن شاء الله وبالله التوفيق والهداية والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. شكرا يا أستاذ.
شكرا دكتور.
شكرا دكتور. رمضان كريم.
الله أكرم.
رمضان كريم. رمضان كريم.
الله أكرم. الله أكرم. Thank you. شكرا لكم. جزاكم الله خيرا. Happy iftar. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نستغفرك اللهم ونتوب إليك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك ونسأل أن سيدنا محمد ورسولك حق وصدق وعدل سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم أشهد أن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر